Speaker Emerita, Democratic Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi of California.
So great to have you here. You've been in Congress quite a while, but you just haven't had enough, have you? You're going back for more.
You haven't had enough. That's why I'm here today. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wonderful to be with you and inspired by Dr. Simmons. My goodness. Let me just say, it was, yes, wonderful to see the bipartisanship that Chuck and Senator Round brought. Leader Schumer and Senator Round brought to the show this morning and to the meetings yesterday. And we have to go forward in a bipartisan way, and it's encouraging. But as I listen to Dr. Simmons, I am reminded that in addition to thinking in terms of guardrails and standards and all the kinds of things that we have to do and what's the agency that's going to run this, we have to improve AI as it goes forward. And apropos of Dr. Simmons' conversation with you, to have make sure we don't have bias in the algorithms, make sure we're protecting children as we go forward. The 230, and these are some of the things that we've been talking about, not just to regulate, but also to improve the system as it goes forward, not just accept it as it is at the moment, because, again, it's a double-edged sword. It can be a plus, it can be a minus. But we want to make sure it's as much a plus as possible for everyone. That's why no bias in the algorithms when it comes to women or people of color
right.
and our children.
Madam Speaker, we have a couple of stories that we want to talk to you about. One, a story written by David Ignatius yesterday, sort of went off like a political bomb in Washington. But before I get to that, I want to talk about today's news. We had Mitt Romney talking about his retirement yesterday, but dropping also is a story where Senator Romney said a very large portion of my party really doesn't believe in the Constitution. Of Mike Pence, he said, no one has been more loyal, more willing to smile when he saw absurdities, more willing to ascribe God's will to things that were ungodly than Mike Pence. And then he said of Mitch McConnell, someone who I saluted for much of what he did on January the 6th, he talked about trying to warn Mitch McConnell on January the 2nd and to be prepared for violence on the 6th, and said he heard nothing back. I'm curious what your thought is about that last one, and also about the other things that we've heard from Mitt Romney about a Republican Party that he says most of them don't even believe in the Constitution.
Well, the departure, so far he has another year, but the announcement by Senator Romney, it was bad news, really, because he's such an example of courage in the United States Senate and in the Congress. The country needs a strong Republican Party. I say that all the time. And they've done great things for our country. And Senator Romney talked about the contrast as to then and now, and hopefully to how we can have it at a place where it is the grand old party once again. The statement about the Constitution is very troublesome, because that's the unifying thing, our Constitution, the oath we take to protect and defend it. So I hope everyone is listening to his remarks in that regard.
So, Madam Speaker, I want to touch on what Joe brought up as some of the topics that we want to talk to you about today, and it's sensitive. We've had Mitt Romney now saying that he's stepping down, that age is a factor, and that Joe Biden and Donald Trump should step aside because age is a factor, and David Ignatius writing a piece and pointing in part to age being a factor. Can you speak to age being a factor potentially in a good way, seeing as you were on the inaugural 50 over 50 list? And when I interviewed you about retirement, I believe you said to me, what's that? And I'm not trying to be cheeky or cute about this. This has become a really serious conversation where people are putting Joe Biden's potential re-election in question because of his age.
Well, age is a relative thing, as we all know, and just looking to our own families and communities and the rest. I come from a community where I just visited with Norman Lear, who's 101, Frank Gehry, who's 95, both of them still actively involved in their professions. It is, again, it's relative. I think that Joe Biden brings such wisdom, judgment, experience to the job of presidency, and he is a great president and will continue to be a great president. But again, it's a relative thing. I can't make judgment about health is a factor in it as well. So again, let's be in the very positive vein about age. It is about judgment, and that's what a president needs to have. Joe Biden knows his why. He knows why he is there. He has a great vision for America. He has knowledge of the issues. He has so much experience, which brings him judgment. He's experienced and strategic in his thinking and getting the job done. We have a record of legislative successes, the 2 years that we were in the majority with him as president. He's a great leader, and that's all up here. And then in the heart, he's the most empathetic president. So his experience is an advantage to us and not to be described as a disadvantage. But again, it's a relative thing. If your health is not good and the rest, then there may be a factor to be considered there. So I appreciated what Senator Romney said, and I don't know why. It's an interesting thing, because when we're with the president, he's vigorous, he's on top of the situation, he is so knowledgeable, and you would see him meet somebody and say, tell me how your younger son is. And I know he was going to college. He has a great memory, which is part of something that might be in question as time goes by. But I'm excited about his candidacy. The Biden-Harris team is our team. We're very proud of it, and we're all going to work very hard to make sure that they are reelected.
Speaker Pelosi, good morning. It's Willie Geist. Good to see you. I would just add into this conversation that we haven't mentioned. Donald Trump gave an interview that aired last night in which he was asked directly if Joe Biden's too old. Donald Trump said, no, he's not too old at all. I have friends in their 80s and 90s who are sharp as a tack, making the case that Joe Biden's not too old. He just says he's incompetent, but not too old. Perhaps some self-awareness about his own age. But we can put that to the side. Madam Speaker.
Yes, he's 77, and
exactly.
I don't hear too many people. Let me tell you, when I said I was running again, some of the, shall we say, friends on the very left have said, oh, she's too old at 83, but happy birthday, Bernie Sanders, at 82.
Right. No, that's right. I want